Yeah, boy. All right, Facebook. It's your girl Lace and Sutton. We are back. I know I said something about maybe tomorrow, or the day after, but there is something on our minds that we need to talk about, and we got to share it. And the title says it all. The censorship is real, people. It's real. We're going to tell you some experiences that we've had recently. So let's just pre-frame what we're going into. So I don't know how many of you saw, but we made some posts last week. You remember them posts that said we made 17 ads in 24 hours? You're never going to see any of those ads on Facebook. And we're about to explain to you why. Because the censorship is real. This has been a really eye-opening experience, to be quite honest. So much so that even our ads expert and ads manager was like, I have never seen this level of censorship ever. Like they Meta are giving you a really hard time, and they really have. So we're gonna dive right into that and tell you what's been going on, and then contrast it against some of the stuff that we are actually seeing out there on Meta ads at the moment. So Sutton, take us in. Try not to be too inflammatory.
Yeah, I don't want to be inflammatory. So let's just kind of briefly give you all a breakdown of what happened. Okay. As co-founders of the Flavor Room, Lace and I have been very innovative in thinking of new ways that we can amplify our message, get it out to a broader audience. And one of the ways we thought about doing that was running ads on Facebook. So we hired a brilliant ads manager and strategist to walk us through that whole thing. We did what we were supposed to do, boom, boom, boom. As we said, 17 ads in 24 hours, which quite frankly were amazing, very potent, the typical style that you are used to hearing us share our information in. And it was immediately brought to our attention that those ads were going to be a no-go. Why were they going to be a no-go? Because the language was, what were the words, Lace? Aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
inflammatory, and potentially unsafe. And that, Lace, you can read the direct kind of breakdown of it, but it was speaking directly to the person and making assumptions about them, which goes against Meta's guidelines. So, me being a marketing person, I was a little bit flabbergasted because I know how you are supposed to, articulate, especially when you're selling something, like, come on, articulate your message to people, right? Making sure that it's very clear. And if you all have been, looking at our content any amount of time, you know that it is very clear, but it is also direct. We do not hold any punches. That is problematic. That is problematic for the metaverse when it comes to ads. And so why did this happen? Well, I mean, we could have a whole other live about why we think this happened. But to avoid going down all those rabbit holes, here's what I will say. Rules for thee, but not for me. I'm sure all of you have seen ads that were, first of all, speaking directly to you, because I mean, that's kind of what you do in marketing if you want it to be effective. Um, we have all seen ads that were kind of in your face, to certain degrees about different things. And I'm sure we've all seen ads that should not be there. Now, we didn't even get to the point of having our ads go live. And we were already being told like, hey, this is not going to pass the snuff test.
Yep.
I think it happened basically because of what I just said. Certain people who look a certain way and do certain things, if you know, are allowed to kind of get around the so-called guidelines. Others, not so much. So could we have easily been like, you know what, bump that, we're going to run them anyway and see what happens? Yeah, we could. we could have most definitely done that. But from my lived experience, um, I can't speak for Lace, but I know for me personally, those would be taken off and our accounts would be banned. I know that. I know that for a fact because that is the nature of the world we live in. And I'll stop there before I get into some other things. Go ahead, Lace.
I was gonna say I know that will be banned within about 30 seconds because I'm not even allowed an ads account myself, and I've never ran an ad in my life. So just for being me, Meta has told me that I am not good enough for running ads based on the things I've said or believe or think in the past without ever having actually run an ad. So I'm with you there, not trying to get banned. I'm not even trying to get close to the account, but really, really disappointed that we put in so much effort and we had so much fun creating these, and they are anything but the way that they had been described by the guidelines. We were not being rude. We were not hurting anybody. Yes, we are talking to people because, like Sutton said, that's what you do. And this is just a little bit of what Meta had said about our ads. So this is the breakdown. Your ads speak directly to the viewer's experiences and feelings. You've all experienced this. If you're tired, were two of the examples. Meta doesn't allow this.
Pause there
Mm-hmm.
because before we jumped on this call, I was scrolling for ads. Lace, how many ads did I quote to you? Probably about 3 or 5. That
Yes.
said, if you blank, those are ads that are live, ads that I have seen over and over again. So they're not new. So it's not like, oh, well, they're new. They haven't been flagged yet. No, 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 no. One of which this person has been running the same ad for years. Continue. I just wanted to point that out.
No, it's fine. Please continue to point out. So the next thing that was in this breakdown says your ads imply negative traits about the viewer, feeling drained, frustrated, or left out, were some of the examples it gave.
I don't have anything to say about that one.
Okay. The next bit says your ads reference protected characteristics, entrepreneurs of color. Hello. So we're not allowed to reference ourselves as a group because this isn't allowed in ad copy when it suggests it's an ad for that group. Yet this is the group of people that the Flavor Room works primarily with. Not that, as you know already, but we keep saying it anyway, we don't exclude people who are not of color, but we are focused on entrepreneurs of color and diverse leaders. We do have white members and we absolutely welcome them, but we're not even allowed to talk to our fellow entrepreneurs of color in an ad because that is not allowed. The next thing that was said to us was if it stereotypes groups. Now you might be thinking, oh, well, yeah, you shouldn't be stereotyping anybody. But the examples that it gave from our ads of stereotyping was no structure, fakery, people who are not serious, because Meta flags that as discriminatory behavior. Okay. And the last thing was your ads use an aggressive tone towards others' behavior. Examples being they just want to sell and pitch and sell, which Meta will reject. And this is just a very small collection of the reasons why our ads were not okay to be shared and would likely be rejected point blank or end up having our account banned. What do you think
Do you,
about that?
do you want to tell them what our ad strategist and manager said?
Absolutely. So our lovely ads manager came back and she said, and I quote, Meta are giving you a really hard time. Being outspoken is severely sanctioned, much worse than my banking or cosmetic surgery clients. What are they scared of?
What are they scared of? Don't answer that question on this live. But that's a question for all of you. If you're listening to this live, you have read our posts. You probably have listened to the podcast. You have probably um, read some of our posts, or perhaps you've had conversations with us privately. What are they afraid of? Why can't two Black women come on and empower, right? We're empowering. I thought we could empower. I thought we could be community, rise up and hold and see and witness. Why can't two Black women come and talk? Everybody talks about truth, speaking their truth, bringing truth to power. We need more truth tellers. Share your experience. It's a safe place. Come. No judgment, no filter, raw and uncut. So why can't two Black women come and share their experience? Then call up others to rise and better themselves. Why can't two Black women talk about what's going on in the online business space? Why? Now you might be listening to this and thinking, you know what? Y'all are on cap. This is not a big deal. The guidelines are there. I mean, just look at all these people that, come online and say crazy stuff. Well, they have to be, there has to be some kind of guidelines. You can't have people just come online and do anything or whatever. People are doing anything or whatever. So I ask again, why are two Black women not allowed to talk about these things? What if we weren't Black? Would that be different? What do you guys think? Comment down below. What do you think? Would it be different? Could we say whatever we want? What have you seen online? What have you seen people saying? Have you seen any kind of inconsistencies, kind of double and triple standards?
Yeah. Go and scroll through some ads and just let us know if any of these ads are speaking directly to the viewer's experience or feelings. Do any of them use the word you or any differentiation of it like you've, if you're?
Making assumptions?
Yes. Or does it speak to any of your negative traits about feeling drained or frustrated or left out or broke or anything that, is talking about a negative trait that you may or may not have? Are they making you think? Are any of these ads putting questions in your head that make you think or feel something? We want to know. We want to know what you see and what you think about what we've said is the guidelines for the ads and how that matches up to what you're actually seeing and hearing across Meta ads.
And something I quickly want to say about the guidelines. Y'all, we have to
Mhm.
remember, how are these guidelines created with AI? All of this is AI, right? So now we're at the point where AI is dictating what is appropriate for human communication and what is inappropriate. AI, as a reminder, AI is only going to implement the trained logic that it was programmed for. AI cannot go beyond what it has been programmed for. So think about that one for a little bit. So no, there is no freedom of speech. It's funny how people still like to throw that around, but there isn't, and there hasn't been um, for a very long time. And, this is further proof of that. And this brings us to our next point, what we're doing about it. So we're not here. I mean, in typical flavor room brand fashion, we are not here just to bark and complain and lie in bed for 3 days. That's not what we're here for. Okay, we're bringing this to you for a reason. And the reason why we're bringing it to you is because you need to know. You need to know some of the things that we've been dealing with behind the scenes. The flavor room has what? This will be our 5th month. Okay, the flavor room is still in its infancy, but in those barely 5 months, we have caused quite a stir. We have been publicly blasted by people with very large audiences and groups trying to drag our names, our good names, mind you, not just any name, good names, trying to drag our good names and reputations through the mud and seeking to do so not only publicly but privately to others. We've had that. We've had people pretending to be allies and advocates of the flavor room, only to ghost, only to ghost or proceed to degrade in private. We've had people that were fully on board, but then when they realized what we are about, that we are about the real, then we became what was it? How was it phrased? Professional liabilities. People who claimed that they were in full support of two Black women coming together to do the thing. But what came out was they were not about two Black women coming together to do the thing, not as leaders. As helpers, sure, staying behind the scenes or staying quiet or needing two Black women needing to be helped, that was okay. Some names which you were probably familiar with, but we're not going to go there. So that's just a piece of what we've had to deal with, right? Then coming into this, where our message, which is intended to call out, but also call forward and uplift to rise, because we have created an ecosystem for diverse leaders and entrepreneurs of color who are tired of looking for acceptance in places where there is none, tired of being undervalued and overlooked and underrepresented. So we said we're building our own table. That's problematic. It's a problematic thing. And if you know, historically, that has always been a problematic thing. So what are we doing about it? Because as I said, we're not here just to complain and, cry about it. We're moving forward like we always do. So this is the system. We'll work around the system without diluting our message. So why does this matter for you? As I said, you all need to be aware of this. This is what really happens when you say, you know what, I'm going to speak up about these things. And this is a reason why a lot of people don't. This is a reason why you see a lot of people in this industry just kind of go along and get along and stay quiet about things, stay quiet about the cap, stay quiet about the lies and the deception, because they don't want to be ostracized. They don't want to be called out. They don't want people DMing them and saying, why are you talking about that? Yes, that has happened. Or telling you, oh, you should just be quiet about that. No one wants to hear about that. Yeah. So If those of us who are serious in business about making an impact, making a difference, and actually being leaders, this is what is required. Leaders pave the way, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient for them. They pave the way and they make a way. And that's what we're doing. So we're circumventing the system, still going to get our message out without diluting it, still doing our thing. And we wanted to bring this to you to make you aware, but also inspire you. Don't let anyone water down your message. Because what you have to say is so important. And if you're finding that you are getting that friction, getting that backlash, just know that you are on the right path. That is your validation that you are on the right path. If you're getting, bigger creators, people with bigger followings, people saying, oh, you probably not, you need to be quiet about that. Oh, no one's going to buy that. Are you sure you want to do that? You need to be quiet about that. That's your green light. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. See, everybody wants to talk about all the problems that are happening in the world. People want to talk about that all day. But how many people are stepping up to lead? This is what is required. This is what is required to change the face of online business. So it's more fair and equitable and ethical for everyone. But this is also what is required to change the world. Stepping up as a leader, not being afraid of the smoke. We are here for all of the smoke. And we know that this is preparation. Barely 5 months in, and this is what we're getting. Just wait. We're being prepared. We're being prepared because there are going to be things that come up. This is our training, if you will. There are going to be things that come up that we're going to have to deal with. But obviously, we can handle it because we're here. We're going to continue to be here. And nothing's going to stop us. Lace, do you have anything? I kind of took over there.
No, I'm just like, preach, mama. So just tell the people like it is, because it's got to be told. So no, I have nothing to add. Just go back and watch this again. That's what I've got for you. Go back and watch this again
And
and
keep
pay
following
attention.
us. Hey, please pay attention. Class is in session, y'all. Class is in session. There will be an exam at the end of this term. Okay? Pay attention. Keep following us. And if you are getting those chills as I was speaking, as Lace was speaking, as you were listening to this live, that's for a reason. Okay? Go ahead and book a Flavor Fit call. Because as you can see, this is a movement that moves. Everybody likes to use that term now too in their marketing as a movement. Are they moving? Where are they moving to? They move in circles. That's it. We're moving upward and onward. And this is why, after barely 5 months, we are getting the backlash. Because we're about to take over in the best way possible. And we want you to come with us.
Yes,
So
we
book
do.
that Flavor Fit call. Find out if the Flavor Room is the right fit for you, where you are at in your business. We would love to hear from you and potentially invite you to the Flavor Room if it's a fit. Lace, do you have anything?
No. We'll be waiting and we will welcome you on that call very soon. So everything that you need in the comments.